Today, I'm gonna show you how to make deeply chocolate-flavored brownies that have the macros of a protein bar and are incredibly easy to make. First up, prepare one big bowl and then already heat up the oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 F, and I'm also gonna use a sieve for this recipe. This is optional, however it will make the brownies a lot better. I will show you why in a second. Start with 60 grams of all-purpose flour, followed up by 30 grams of cocoa powder. The sieve will prevent both from forming lumps and will turn them into a very fine powder. When you whisk it now, you will see that you get one homogeneous mixture, and that will lead to a much more balanced flavor in the brownies. For the cocoa powder, I recommend using Dutch cocoa. Dutching is a process that makes the cocoa powder less acidic, leading to a much smoother and less bitter flavor. We will see the difference in the color of the cocoa powder. Dutch cocoa is a lot darker. You can also use regular cocoa if that's the only thing you have on hand. I would add a quarter teaspoon of baking soda in that case. That will make everything a bit more alkaline, which can lead to less bitterness as well. Next up is 2 scoops of 60 grams of protein powder. Now, for the best result, I would recommend using chocolate protein and this is super important, you need to use casein protein or a 50-50 blend of casein and whey, and I will show exactly why. Here I'm adding 15 grams of whey in a bowl and combine it with 50 grams of water. As I'm mixing this, you will see that the whey protein powder dissolves and doesn't bind any water at all. Everything remains liquid, which is the reason you can use it as a protein shake and drink it. Now look at what happens when I combine the same amount of casein with 50 grams of water. As I'm mixing it, this turns into a yogurt-like consistency. This is because casein can bind a lot more water than whey, and that is why baked goods made with whey tend to be super dry as opposed to casein that makes baked goods taste a lot more moist because it can hold more liquid inside your cake. That's the reason why casein is much more superior for baking than whey, so please get yourself a casein powder, it is well worth it. Finally, add a pinch of salt and then give everything a final whisk before adding the wet ingredients. Here I'm gonna add 2 whole eggs and plain skyr. You can also use fat-free Greek yogurt if you want, they have pretty much the same macros. Place it on a scale and scoop out 100 grams. And finally, add a microwave-safe container on a scale, and now we're going to add butter. Yes, butter has a ton of calories, but I tried this multiple times without butter and it just simply makes too much of a difference. You need to add 25 grams of butter at least. During my testing, I figured that this is the least amount to taste a massive difference. So, put this into the microwave at 400 watts for 30 seconds to melt, and in the meantime, prepare 70% dark chocolate. This is another high-calorie ingredient that, again, in my opinion, cannot be skipped to make proper brownies. It just doesn't taste good enough without. You need 25 grams of dark chocolate, break it up into pieces and add them into the melted butter. The residual heat from the butter should be enough to melt the chocolate as well, and if not, then simply add it back into the microwave for 15 seconds. Mix it all together now and toss it into the bowl with the other ingredients, and use a spatula here to really scrape out all of the buttered chocolate. So, finally add 200 grams of milk. I used 1% fat milk here, and now with a whisk start combining this. It will take you about 30 seconds or so until you get this thick and creamy batter that already smells incredible. Next up, the baking form. I only have this aluminum dish that is way too big for my batter size, but luckily with a simple trick you can form whatever baking dish size that you want using aluminum foil. Just take 1 or 2 pieces and squeeze them into the container as a divider inside your dish. In my case, I just transformed this into an 18 x 16 cm dish or 7 x 6 inches. I will also add another piece of aluminum foil between the divider and the edge so it doesn't move backwards while baking. And because I didn't have any parchment paper, I also used aluminum foil as the bottom layer before adding the batter. This is an important step. It will make your life a lot easier after baking when you want to remove the cake from the dish. So, transfer the entire batter into the baking dish, spread it out with a spatula to distribute it evenly throughout the space, and then bake it in the preheated oven for 27 minutes. Once you're done, the safest way to check the doneness is to use a food thermometer. Try to bake this to around 92 to 94 degrees Celsius or 200 F. That is about the perfect range, and then remove the brownie from the dish and let it cool down for about 30 minutes. Once it is cooled down, if you use aluminum foil, please be careful when removing it from the brownie. It could stick to it, so remove it slowly. I'm gonna cut this now into 12 squares, and you can store them in the fridge for 3 to 4 days, and if you want some, lay up some on a plate, and I recommend adding some low-fat whipping cream along with some fruit for an absolutely incredible breakfast. If you cut it into 12, every brownie comes in at 90 calories with 7 grams of protein. I made a cookbook that's helped over 10,000 people lose weight. It has over 250 recipes, and I'm constantly updating it with new ones, which you get for free once you've purchased it. Also, I started live streaming daily on Twitch and on Kick, so come hang out, the links are in the description.